This episode is brought to you by freedadcourse.com. You are always one conversation away from changing your life, and the power of hello is something that I subscribe to every single day, and I'm always saying hello to new people everywhere I go. Increasing your opportunity, increasing your connection, and getting access to solutions to the problems that you are facing, whether you're on active duty or just beginning your veteran transition, or you've been transitioning out for 20 years. On the other side of hello are the solutions that you're looking for. Again, head on over to freedadcourse.com. Get your 5-episode audio course to create more connection, create more friendships, and get back to living the life that you're trying to design.
This is Fire Team Delta. Dad's coming home.
Welcome to the Military Veteran Dad Podcast, where it is our mission to bring every dad home. I am your host, Ben Killoy. I'm a United States Marine veteran, husband, and a father. We will bring authentic conversations to inspire action in your life so we can close the gap between the dad you are today and the dad you want to be tomorrow. This is the Military Veteran Dad Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is Military Veteran Dad. I'm your host, Ben Killoy, and it is a brand new year. It is 2022. The question in your life that's available to you right now is, what are you going to do? Shared last week, what is your word of the year? Today, in the first Monday of the year, are you behind already? Have you already given up on your New Year's resolution? Have you already maybe overly been consumed by whatever life has on your shoulders? Because what I want to remind you and make today's topic is talking about how we often set up the illusion of the New Year's to change everything. I do it too. I did it so many years in the past. So many years we're hunkered down with just trying to, yes, the New Year is where everything's going to get better. Meanwhile, nothing gets better. And so what I want to remind you today is that the same problems you had in December are the same problems you have in January, and not one single day is going to change everything. But one single day can change what tomorrow looks like. Remember that you won't be able to change your entire year with one simple, big, giant swoop of a goal. What you will be able to do is change what happens today. That right here, today, you have an opportunity to influence where your feet are, to influence what you're thinking about, to influence what you're feeling about, and maybe what you're avoiding. Because the reality of New Year's is the opportunity to renew, like everybody wants to. But the idea is that's not how life works. That's not how our mind works. Before we had parties on New Year's used to just be a day 200 years ago that was like every other day. It was just another day where they had an opportunity to get a chance to create and carve the freedom in this country that they were looking for. That is your opportunity you have every day. So whether you are on active duty, whether you're in the beginning of your transition, or whether you are 5,899 days into your transition, every day is your opportunity to keep going. As you've heard on this podcast, I've talked a lot about my journey in figuring out this podcast and figuring out what it was like to try to make an impact. When I started with Military Veteran Dad 3 years ago, the idea of what I was doing was not something I'm even close to doing today. What I am talking about today is not what I'm talking about back then. It's an evolutionary process that requires you to show up every single day. And as you're showing up every single day, that allows you to make the changes in the future to change everything that happens. So often in our life as military dads, we get hung up on that the objective is something that we could just point towards and automatically make happen. Now, there are so many things in life that example makes sense for. There's examples in life where that is the objective, and that is your goal. But whatever you're trying to leave behind in 2022 isn't going to be able to be done that way. Because one, I'm going to call out your bullshit. Your bullshit says that you haven't actually acknowledged what's holding you back. If there is one thing that I have learned from my life and talking to guys in your life, in your perspective, is acknowledging that horse shit that you hold yourself back with, the shit that you are not even aware of is happening in your head. The stories that are happening below the surface that are dictating everything you do. Those are the reasons why New Year's resolutions don't stick, because we do not figure out what is truly holding us back. Every day we carry around a weight on our shoulders that continues to get heavier and heavier without us actually being able to see it. We can't measure, we just feel it. I can tell you with the dads that I've talked with over the years, there are so many moments where just identifying the story, identifying the narrative that's holding them back, they immediately change their tonality in their voice. I always point it out because it's something that is a remarkable switch in just 20 minutes of talking to a dad. Whatever it may be, acknowledge that your life will always probably be stuck in a roundabout until you figure out what's fucking holding you back. Until you acknowledge the unacknowledged, all the goals, all the objectives, all the wishes that you want to come true won't happen because you're not always the one making the decisions. Your subconscious is. Your subconscious is creating narratives. It's creating simple no's where it seems okay to say no, and meanwhile, that was actually trying to secure whatever it is that you're hiding. If you've been a long-time listener to this podcast, I always describe it as what's in your shadows. The stuff in your shadows is not meant to stay there. Superman gets his power from the light. He gets his power from the light by bringing himself into the light. You yourself can get your power from the light if you choose to accept it, if you choose to acknowledge it, and if you choose to move through it. Whatever it might be holding you back in 2022, acknowledge it. Bring some truth to it. Just even admitting, I'm not okay. The 4 hardest words a man will admit to himself. Those 4 hardest words are what most men need to admit. Even over the last 90 days, I've said them multiple times to myself. I'm not okay. And you know what I do? I reach out to the men that I have in my life to lean on them, to share what's going on, and to let them know I'm not okay. Because saying it out loud is actually an admission of how to get through it. Lying to yourself is how you just swallow those emotions down and they blow up in moments that you don't want to. Guys, what's holding you back is what's going to prevent you from achieving the 2022 that you want. The connection to your family, yourself, your marriage, your kids, your career, whatever it may be, it's the shit that's holding you back that's going to prevent it. It's why in my coaching program, I designed 2 whole weeks to get to the bottom of what holds you back, to get to the bottom of what this is. Because it is so important to let go of what was to embrace what could be. If that interests you, head on over to militaryveterandad.com. Up at the top, there's a button for coaching. Take a look at my calendar. Take a look. I've opened up some times this week in my calendar to talk with you guys, to help you guys get clarity on what is holding you back, to help you see where you could go if this shit wasn't holding you back. I was just talking to a dad today, and a question that immediately started coming to my mind was, who would you be and where would you be going if this shit wasn't there? Or if you didn't feel this way that you do, what would you be doing in spite of that? A sub-question to that question was, who are you becoming? Where are you going? Didn't have a good answer on that. He had ideas around it, but he was avoiding the idea of who he was becoming and where he was going. Guys, you are not meant to stay stuck. You are not meant to stay where you're going. You are meant to live a life, the one that you want in your dreams. The one that you know you feel in your bones is the one you were meant for. But you have to get through this war in your head, and you're not meant to do it alone. And it's what I do for a living. Guys, head on over to militaryveterandad.com. Reach up at the top, grab a coaching spot, open up that this week for a select group of people to get a free coaching call. Head on over there. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Guys, we'll be back again with our regularly scheduled interview shows next Monday with some really good content that we're going to be cracking open the gates right out of the gate here. It's good conversations, good, really renewable conversations that are going to renew your soul, your story, your conversations, and where you go. Just some really good stuff. So look forward to that coming. And like I said, we'll be back to the interview shows on January 10th. Until then, have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys again on Monday.